Welcome to our video introducing the dual Arcana system. Arcana system is a pre-battle strategic system independent from the enchantment system. It allows you to increase heroes' attributes throughout the battle. The system will be unlocked after the player reaches level 7, and the slots within the Arcana list will also unlock one by one as the player's level increases. You will need to use Arcana fragments or gold for the purchase and upgrade of Arcana. It can also be acquired through other sources, such as completing achievements. Before the start of a game, player will select the Arcana system in the preparation slot to create an Arcana combination best suited for their hero. The appropriate combination of Arcana can give players a clear advantage when the battle is begun. Arcana is split into 3 categories based on its functionality. Red Arcana focuses on increasing the hero's ability to attack. Purple Arcana focuses on increasing the hero's ability to self-recover, and Blue Arcana focuses on increasing the hero's defensive abilities. Arcana of each color is further split into 8 categories based on their bonuses: attack, life, defense, function, lifesteal, attack speed, critical hit, and pierce. Each independent Arcana has 3 levels. The higher the Arcana level, the more bonus it grants the hero. On the Arcana page, players can freely pick as they wish to create the combination from red, purple, and blue Arcana. Players can create their Arcana combination on the Arcana page based on the role of their hero and their own playstyle. After choosing your Arcana, you can click the top right of the Arcana page to rename and save your combination. In addition, the system has recommended combinations based on roles and playstyles for the player to select directly and use. Depending on the different combinations in a match, Arcana will enhance a hero's performance in different ways. Even if the player uses the most advanced Arcana for their combination, the bonus provided for the hero will not greatly affect the balance of the game. Then, how will the Arcana system help players? During the early stages of the match, the basic attributes of heroes are quite low. Even if the Arcana did not offer much bonus, it could bring about a considerable and substantial difference. Such a change will help the player decide their early game strategy and playstyle while adding more variables to the battlefield. Arcana combinations are not absolute. According to one's understanding of the hero and their playstyle, players will all have different combinations. Should you focus on certain enemy heroes or making up for the shortcomings of your allies? Should you take the initiative in teamfights or increase roaming efficiency? It is entirely up to the player. This marks the end of our video introduction to the Arcana system. Thank you for watching, and good luck on the battlefield. Class Introduction. Welcome to the class introduction of Arena of Valor. In Arena of Valor, the 2 sides will confront each other in teams of 5, and the heroes are the avatars of the players on the battlefield. Your knowledge of your hero and class is the first step towards victory. For your convenience, heroes are divided into 6 classes in the legendary duel: Tank, Warrior, Mage, Assassin, Marksman, and Support. Due to the unique abilities of some heroes, they will have multiple classes. Players can clearly see the characteristics of the 6 classes in the hero interface. Aside from this, players can also check the class of their chosen hero at Choose Character screen in a match. Tank class heroes. Tank class heroes fulfill the role of the meat shield of the team. If you're a fearless warrior who wishes to charge through the forefront of battle, then tank class heroes are undoubtedly the best suited for you. Disrupting the enemy's formation and drawing their fire is the core use of tank heroes. Thus, they also shoulder the heavy burden of initiating team battles. Warrior class heroes. Warrior class heroes excel in close quarter melee combat, combining the ability of dealing damage and tanking. Warrior class heroes are the backbone of the team, and they're suited to fight in any situation. At the same time, they have multiple item sets and playstyles. In a real combat situation, we will prepare item sets based on the team's composition and battle situation to balance the team's overall offensive and defensive capabilities. Mage class heroes. Mage class heroes are the core of the team's offensive capabilities, dishing out large damage via magic. Using their spells and abilities to obliterate everything in their way is what all mages desire. Normally, mage heroes all have powerful magic damage capabilities and a certain amount of control abilities to ensure that they can quickly defeat enemies with very high armor. But due to their poor survivability, they can be vulnerable targets for the enemy's attack. Assassin class heroes. Assassin class heroes are the masters of burst damage. Thus, they are quite difficult to use. If you're someone who enjoys the thrill of seeing the enemy fall to zero almost instantly, then the Assassin class heroes are your best choice. Assassin class heroes often combine excellent movement abilities with damage abilities. However, due to their lower basic HP than other heroes, Assassin class heroes rely on other players' ability to assess the situation and timing, as well as their mastery over the hero to maximize their potential. Marksman class heroes. Through steady and consistent physical damage, Marksman class heroes are also the core of a team's damage output. Different from the ability based on burst damage of mages, Marksmen prefer suppressing their enemies from afar and dishing out non-stop physical damage. But their fragility and lack of survival skills are their biggest shortcomings, putting them in a position where they are dependent on the protection and support of their allies. Support class heroes. Support class heroes value functionality. Normally, they are unable to deal substantial damage or have noticeable defensive abilities, but they have the important mission of protecting their allies, supporting their attacks, and guiding the initiations of teamfights. Support players can also be the MVP. According to the different styles of the team, some teams require a tanker support hero who can share the burden of the tank with higher offensive capabilities, whilst other teams require a functionality-based support hero who can protect teammates in dire situations and provide buffs to control and enhance magical damage. Your choice is closely tied to the team's needs in real combat. A team will need to choose 5 out of the 6 classes above to form. Utilizing different combinations of heroes can bring forth different chemical reactions for the team, and the right mix of combinations will allow you to demonstrate your advantages. This concludes the class introduction for Arena of Valor. Good luck on the battlefield, and we will see you next time. Welcome to our video introducing the ping system in Arena of Valor. Arena of Valor is a fast-paced, competitive multiplayer game. Communication and coordination within your team are vital to ensure victory. To help players communicate conveniently while reporting and delivering quick, accurate information on the battlefield, Arena of Valor has a context-sensitive built-in ping system that is easy to use. The ping button prompt is placed on the top right corner of the screen in a match. To use it, long press the ping button and point your finger to the triggerable area to send your team the corresponding ping. In addition, players can click the map button on the top right corner to expand the map and send pings by tapping the corresponding location on the map. Of course, players have the option to block ping sound effects and voiceover from other players to prevent interference during the battle. Battle alert pings. When players are on the move, they can send their estimated arrival time to teammates by tapping their location on the map. Players can request support from teammates by dragging the ping button prompt to their own hero. When the player is hidden in the grass, drag the ping button prompt to the grass to instruct teammates to hide themselves and ambush together. When a player is outside of the grass, dragging the ping button prompt towards the grass will notify teammates to be careful of an enemy ambush. Wilderness status ping. When Abyssal Dragon, Dark Slayer, or your own buff exists on the map, players can give corresponding attack commands to their teammates by tapping the corresponding monster directly on the map or by dragging the ping button prompt to the relevant monster. If a monster has yet to respawn, dragging the ping button prompt will notify the players of the corresponding monster's respawn time. Personal status ping. Players can notify teammates their skills are ready by dragging the ping button prompt onto their hero's skills. Dragging the ping button onto a skill in cooldown will alert teammates of the cooldown timer. When a hero dies, the player can drag the ping button prompt onto the death countdown to inform their teammates how long it will take to revive. In addition, players can inform teammates that they're returning to base by dragging the ping button prompt onto the recalling button while in recall. Enemy status ping. When the enemy has disappeared from a lane, the players can send an enemy missing ping by tapping on the lane. When the enemy reappears, tapping on the lane will signify how many enemies are present. Situation alert ping. Players can prompt teammates to defend structures by tapping their defense tower on the map or by dragging the ping button to the tower. When the player is not in a mid-recall state and drags the ping button prompt to the recall button, it will remind teammates to return to base. Furthermore, players can send scores to teammates by dragging and dropping the ping button prompt onto the scoreboard. There are hundreds of different ping options in Arena of Valor. Players should use them strategically to give themselves and their team a leg up on the competition. Be aware that the ping button is only a notification. The key to victory lies in making the right informed decisions. This marks the end of our video introduction to the ping system in Arena of Valor. Tell us your favorite thing to ping in the comments. Thank you for watching. Good luck on the battlefield. Welcome to our video introducing the team communication systems in Arena of Valor. Arena of Valor is a fast-paced, competitive multiplayer game. Communication and coordination within your team are vital to ensure victory. To help players communicate quickly and clearly in-game, Arena of Valor has introduced team communication systems, such as pinging, quick messaging, built-in real-time voice chat, and emojis. Players can press the context-sensitive ping button prompt on the top right corner of the screen to instantly notify teammates of their status on the battlefield. Players can also drag and hold the ping button to various elements in-game for different alerts. Depending on the context, pings can be divided into types such as battle alerts, wilderness status, personal status, enemy status, and situational alerts. Check out our ping system introduction video to learn more about how you can use the ping system in Arena of Valor. Players can use the in-game quick message system to plan and communicate. Quick messages first appear as part of the pre-battle strategy screen.
Rally for a team fight.
Before the match, the player can set selections and adjustments within settings. These pre-made messages can be split into 3 major categories: defense, offense, and communication. Players can select 8 messages from these 3 categories to use as quick messages within Arena of Valor. Some quick messages even have voice lines that play when being used.
Let me get the buff.
In the event you want to communicate in more details with your teammates, you can also tap the box beneath the quick message window to enter text. Keep it clean. Aside from quick messages, voice chat will always be the most accessible and concise way to communicate on the battlefield. Players can use the game's built-in real-time voice chat system to speak and converse with their teammates directly. To use voice chat, tap the microphone button on the left side of the screen. When the player is queuing with friends in a pre-made party, they can choose the voice chat to be party only. Emojis are a fun and expressive way to communicate within Arena of Valor. Before the start of the match, players can equip emojis with their customization suite. Make an emoji selection while in a match to use the corresponding emojis. When triggering certain scenarios, heroes will automatically release their preset quick emojis. If there are teammates nearby that use an interactive emoji, and the player responds with an interactive emoji of their own, a new effect will be created for both emojis. One last thing to note, emoji displays can be seen by your enemies. Use your smileys wisely.
I picked Dragontail. Not the other way around.
Painting genius, Jan. Since his childhood, the exceptionally talented Jan has reached the pinnacle of painting as a teenager. But when inspiration dries up, causing the talented young man to fall into infinite anxiety, his master sends him on a journey to find inspiration, taking with him the Rivers and Mountains Dream Scroll and Sword of Inspiration in his path to find materials. The young man's search for a breakthrough is fraught with crisis, but this is no obstacle for the battle-savvy Yan, who will hold the brush of the Sword of Inspiration in his hand and repel the enemies that stand in his way as he paints everything in his path. Passive, Spiritual Spark. When Yan uses Skill 1 and Skill 2, he will gain a stack of energy, having 2 stacks of energy, depending on the difference in the previous skill. Will cause the next normal attack to gain additional boost. After using an enhanced normal attack, his attack speed will increase. Yan's skill will mark an enemy when it hits them. Dealing damage to the same target will consume the mark and trigger additional physical damage, restoring Yan's own HP in the process. Skill 1, Black Jade Sprinkle. Yan will deal damage and apply movement speed reduction to enemies in a fan shape in front of him. Passive Enhanced Normal Attack. After a short delay, deals damage to the enemy in front and knocks them away. He can move during the delay and deal additional damage to minions and wild monsters. Skill 2, Draconic Step. Yan moves forward in an arc, dealing damage to enemies along the path. Yan is untargetable while using the skill. Passive Enhanced Normal Attack. Charging towards the target enemy and dealing damage, he can use another part of Skill 2 within a short time frame. Additional Skill 2 cast has a separate cooldown calculation and does not accumulate energy. Skill 3, Hills of Dream. Yan releases his seal, entering enhanced status and dealing damage to surrounding enemies, receiving a massive physical penetration, and can use the second part of the ultimate skill. He gains super armor and reduces damage taken during the cast. Yan will enhance all of his other skills. The second part of Ultimate. Yan charges forward and deals massive damage and knocks away enemies in a massive range forward. Enhanced Skill 1. Deal 2 instances of level 3. Passive Enhanced Normal Attack will return 1 stack of energy. Yan is a highly controllable warrior-type assassin. His damage will continuously increase as the game goes on. He becomes extremely powerful in the later stages of the match. Thus, rapid growth and increasing level are important for Yan. The key to mastering Yan is utilizing Yan's skill set, launching enhanced normal attacks with different effects, and making use of the short cooldown time of his skill set to continuously dish out skill combos. At the start of the game, if Yan needs to support and gank enemies, he can save a stack of his passive in the bush. Use Skill 1 to slow down enemies who passes by, and trigger Skill 1's enhanced normal attack to knock away the target, to crowd control them and coordinate with teammates to finish them off. Yan needs to save up 1 stack of his passive while chasing down enemies. He needs to make use of Skill 2 to get close to the enemy first, then uses enhanced normal attack's additional reset of Skill 2 to continue pursuing. Once the gap is closed, use Skill 3, Skill 1, enhanced normal attack, Skill 3's second part to finish up. In team fights later in the match, make use of the buff effect from the ultimate to bring forth a good haul. Yan needs to attack from the flank. Use Skill 2 first to close in on the back row, followed by Skill 3, normal attack, Skill 1, normal attack, the second part of Skill 3, Skill 2, Skill 1 to finish them off. When there are multiple tank-type heroes in the enemy composition, due to Yan's lack of high damage before using his ultimate, he needs to watch his timing when he enters the battle. Make use of the physical penetration from the ultimate, as the bonus can deal quite substantial damage even against tank-type heroes. Due to Marks being able to be triggered multiple times, while in enhanced status, coordinating with Skill 2's movement and skill 1's damage, you can potentially take down tanks. Yan's passive HP Restore allows him to have decent survivability. Watch your timing on using skill 2's untargetable effect to dodge enemy damage. Yan needs to improvise in battle and requires careful observation of the situation on the battlefield to choose the right skill to cast.
Jade Fan Beauty Yue. As the Princess of the Dragon Kingdom, Yue brandishes a fan as her weapon, retaining her elegance even in battle. Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher allow her to easily control the whole battlefield, and Borrowed Might allows Yue to unleash endless attacks. If an enemy dares to offend Yue's grace, then they will taste the power of Rising Wind. Passive skill, Borrowed Might. Every time Yue uses Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher, she will gain a stack of Borrowed Might. When she has 2 stacks of Borrowed Might, Yue will reset the cooldown time of Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher and strengthen the next Aqua Force or Mountain Crusher. Skill 1, Aqua Force. Yue throws 2 bone fans at close range, dealing damage to enemies in their path. After strengthening, Yue will throw out 4 bone fans when using Aqua Force. Aqua Force will deal several times the damage where the bone fans converge. Skill 2, Mountain Crusher. Yue throws 2 bone fans at far range, dealing damage to enemies in their path. After strengthening, Yue will throw out 4 bone fans when using Mountain Crusher. Mountain Crusher would deal several times the damage where the bone fans converge. Skill 3, Rising Wind. Yue knocks back nearby enemies and deals damage to enemies in its path while pushing them back slightly. Yue will gain additional vision. Yue is a long-range mage with a powerful ability to exhaust the enemies, but is complicated to operate. To deal perfect damage using Yue, you need to be skilled in combining her skills to deal damage multiple times stronger. However, when Yue overlaps with the enemy, both Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher can deal full damage. When in the lane period, Yue can quickly clear enemy creeps via refreshing her skills through her passive skill and then assist the side lanes. In team fights, Yue needs to use Mountain Crusher multiple times to exhaust the enemies and frequently use Aqua Force to charge up her passive skill to look out for chances to kill or exhaust fragile enemy heroes. The core combo of Yue is to save up a stack of her passive in advance and instantly use Mountain Crusher twice to deal burst damage. But be cautious, Yu's ultimate is the only life-saving skill, so she needs to save her ultimate to be aware of enemy assassins' heroes in team fights.
absolutely, I bring it. Yeah. 50 feet step back, I'm about to speak my G, I'm with it. Yeah. Sun shines, I dream bigger. Believe in myself, I maintain rigor. Be what I wanna be, don't be little. Be.
No pain, no gain. If you don't wanna fade away, look both ways. Hope pays. Heroes will be silent when they say the day. Yeah, I'm a queen. I overcome relentless pain, and I got it in my genes. I pass through anyways crisis, no matter what the price is. Prepare.
Hey, send me up at any location, I hold up and mow them down. Look at the constellations for consolation while I retain my crown. Back in the background, I'm a background, what goes gon' come back round. I'm self-made, built everything from the ground up, I say it proud.
No pain, no gain. If you don't wanna fade away, look both ways. Hope pays. Heroes will be silent when they say the day. Yeah, I'm a queen. I overcome relentless pain, and I got it in my genes. I pass through anyways crisis, no matter what the price is. Prepare. Protect my people, always beware. There's always new rivals everywhere. Hold your own and I declare, I'm riding to the air.
Hello and welcome to Arena Valor International Championship 2022. It is the day 2 of the quarterfinals, and we are going to be your shoutcasters for today. My name is Giang Gaming, and here with me is Mikos to bring you the action of today. A small recap, or short recap rather, of yesterday's action. Talon Esports won against a dope team, and one team has won against Valencia CF, and on the losers bracket, we have seen Valencia CF winning 3-0 against a dope team. So we are now gonna be bidding goodbye to yet another team. So a dope team, they have performed significantly well, but it is still not enough for them to keep up with the remaining teams. Right now we are scheduled 3 series for today. Bikertopia Esports versus Bacon Time, V Gaming versus Team Flash, and whoever is gonna be losing later on in their respective series. How are you, Mikos? Are you excited for today's games?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this matchup because we saw a lot more changes yesterday. We have a Preda coming in, we have a lot of UA gameplay coming in from Valencia, but today maybe we can see a lot more changes because we are playing onto the best of 5, and I'm excited to see what the global bans could be in place with the players, because we recently saw a lot of meta picks instead of not kind of meta. That we see a lot more whips, a lot more slims, and maybe we can saw a Valheim pick here in game, maybe game 4, maybe game 5. So it's awesomely trying to find which of this team could bring something that we're not used to see in this AIC.
Yeah, we have seen yesterday a couple of heroes being picked up, like the Rui, the Preta as well by by Valencia CF, and there was one as well, the Wukong. Unfortunately, some of those picks haven't transitioned into a win just yet, so we do see now kind of the conflict of the or the pressure that the global bans on extended series impact the game and the performance of the teams. But it's still not the worst yet. It's still just best of 5. Next week we are going to be having best of 7s though, and right now we are already experiencing some of the pressure. We're still at the quarterfinals though, so not really much. Still best of 5s for now, and we do see a couple of teams standing out and performing extremely well. Actually, Talon Esports, one team, and Valencia CF winning their respective games dominantly. Well, for Valencia CF, they suffered a loss against one team first, but they redeemed themselves through their match against a dope team. We do have the semifinals next week as well in July 2 to 3, and the grand finals at July 10, which is both best of 7. So that's going to be a tough one for the teams. Prize pool still remains the same, which is quite high, Mikos.
Yeah, the prize pool is just to be a reminder for us who's going to be in the places. And because of yesterday, we saw ADT already claim the $40,000 for themselves because they are number 8 in AIC. Now we are going to see. We have to find number 7 and maybe number 6 as well. So who's going to be number 7 in this pool is maybe Beacon Time. Maybe we have Flash, V Gaming, and as well as by Consopia. So in terms of this current matchup, we still have a clear idea that who's going to win, but still in the best of 5. Maybe much of a potential for the underdogs. But yeah, yesterday we have a 3-0 win on the first series, and also a 3-1 win in the second series, and a 3-0 in the lower brackets. But now this is the reminder for you guys, is the qualified teams. Only AIC has to say goodbye from AIC in this playoff. So we still have 7 teams to be played on, and maybe tomorrow is going to be something that we hard to say with the best of 7 maybe. So it's going to be a lot more complicated than just winning one game.
Yeah, things are getting really complicated right now. We're already seeing some teams adapting towards the extended series, which is being affected by the global bans. We are seeing really tough matchups right now. Later on, we're gonna be seeing Bikertopia Esports versus Bacon Time. 2 really strong teams. We're now on the top 8, so we have filtered out some who are quite struggling to keep up with the other teams, but we're also squeezing out every bit of effort that these teams have to offer, especially in terms of their performance. We have seen a couple of teams bidding goodbye. Yesterday we have seen a dope team saying goodbye to the AIC 2022, unfortunately, after losing to Valencia CF. But on the bright side, we have seen some redemptions, just like for Valencia CF. So far, winning a dominating 3-0 against them, and they do have a chance in the lower bracket quarterfinals. We are going to be seeing, though, who they are going to be matched upon with, depending on how tomorrow's games are going to be resulting with. And today, we are going to be seeing who's dropping down towards the lower bracket as well. It will depend on the performance of these 4 teams competing right now, which is Bikertopia, Bacon Time, V Gaming, and Team Flash. And on the screen, you are seeing the matchups as well in the respective schedule in terms of time. And well, it is a best of 5, so it is still similar to the setup yesterday, but the results might actually be different, since both or all 4 teams have been exerting so much effort in their respective games. We do see all of them remaining in the top 2 in their respective groups as well. performing quite well, having a dominant games, despite their matchups actually in their respective elimination rounds. And right now, it will depend as well on their momentum and maybe on their picks. Things are looking quite crucial as we go into the latter stages of the tournament, starting it off with our first series, Bikertopia and Bacon Time. Well, Bacon Time is not at all super perfect. They have been defeated by V Gaming during the group stages. Well, so we can actually say that they can be defeated. There is some signs of struggle in them, which can be exploited by some teams, but it is also present on Bikertopia because they have suffered a defeat as well against some of the teams in their respective group, which is Group C. Yeah, so it will depend on how teams measure up each other and how they will be able to exploit their weaknesses. But I do see more stability on Bacon Time. What about you?
Yeah, I think for Bacon Time, they are one of the teams that barely made it into the groups, and it's going to be something for Bacon Time to just prove that they are better than Bikertopia. But still, we had Bikertopia in number 1 in the Group C, so it's going to be some of a matchup that is hard to predict, and it's going to be the level that in game number 1 could dictate a lot of momentum for the side of B Gaming, and as well as the flash they are waiting for them, who's going to be faced by in the next stage. So Bikertopia, they had a quite strong mid-game matchup. They always had a aggressive mid-game after one objective. Maybe they take the Abyssal Dragon first, and they are going to just go for invade and also trade onto objectives. So in terms of Bacon Time, they had a lot of early aggressive with Muan on the side, with the Loville pick. Maybe they're going for a Whips pick for the side of Muan. So if they want to play aggressive, it's okay for Bacon Time. So we said it a lot that Bacon Time is one of the OG teams that had the potential to win a lot because of the experience. Instead, Bikertopia is a little bit shaky because of they lost one game from ADT, and they give us one game with one comeback comes in from ADT itself. So in terms of the energy and also stability in terms of game, maybe Bacon Time had a lot more go on. By Bikertopia, they cannot make some mistakes like they do for ADT if they want to survive this playoff versus Bacon Time that had not much of a mistake made in terms of their strategy execution. So if Bikertopia has a lot more potential, they need to shut down the early phase from Bacon Time.
And it's actually hard to shut down Bacon Time, especially in terms of their momentum. It took a lot of effort actually from V Gaming. Yes, it was a 2-0 victory, but it wasn't an easy one from them to be able to execute that kind of win, because they also suffered a defeat from Bacon Time previously. And we're talking about V Gaming here, which has a lot of success already in the Arena of Valor competitive scene. And if we look at Bikertopia, yes, they have been performing quite well, but we do see more mistakes coming from them. So that's something we have to look at, especially for their coaches, for their players, and those are the things as well that they have to minimize or maybe remove at all, because those are the things that Bacon Time are going to be looking towards in terms of exploiting and then also punishing. It's hard to take down Bacon Time because they are quite aggressive in their early game. We saw them dominate against V Gaming and the other teams as well, just like Mad Team, which was unsuccessful in getting the revenge win against Bacon Time as well. So if we do talk about stability, yes, Bacon Time isn't really the most stable one as of the moment, in comparison to like V Gaming and maybe even Mad Team, even if they were taken out during the previous days. But if we compare them to we do compare them to Bikertopia, it is kind of like a different level as of now. They are kind of like the underdog in this particular matchup. So yes, it would be difficult for them, but it also can be a stepping stone for Bikertopia in terms of having to prove themselves if they do want to stay longer in this tournament and move on towards the top 4 of the AIC 2022. So because Bacon Time, yeah, they are really strong as of the moment, but they're not perfect. That's the thing that they have to look forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Bikertopia to win this matchup because of this is the best of 5, and we, in terms of who's going to invest more in game number 1, we see yesterday that Valencia's they love to invest in game number 1, and also in the first 3 games they happen to love invest in the meta picks. They invest a lot in game number 1. If they lose it, it's going to be hard, because when they invest in game number 1 versus last time in the upper bracket, they invest Lorien and they lose with the Lorien, and that is something that the lost investment that they made, and it's hard to make a comeback because they had to play around with a lot more heroes to be in game number 2 and stretch into game number 3, and it is a matter of time. If they just invest in game number 1 and you don't have a lot more comfort picks in game number 2, it's going to be hard to just make a comeback if you lose game number 1. So we saw that happen for Valencia, and today maybe we saw a lot more strategies that could be played here by Bikertopia. They had a lot of experience. They can manage to invest a little bit in game number 1, but if they want to win against Bacon Time, they have to invest a lot in early matchup, like maybe a Ryoma, maybe a Scud, and also the Zuka Tachi to be played in game number 1. So if they want to bring the fight to Bacon, they need to shut down Bacon momentum in terms of the first phase, because of Bacon Time. They know how to invest. They can stretch it out to game number 3 or maybe game number 4 for their winning. So Bikertopia had to realize is that Bacon Time is one of the first team that could win this in the top 4, and making it possible for Bacon Time because of how Muan play. I love how Muan play. Muan is a kind of archer that plays a little bit passive, but when you want him to be aggressive, he executed perfectly with the maybe a Laville with double trouble. Maybe they had a couple more. Maybe they
Like
go
the Elsu,
for
yeah.
like an Elsu. Yeah, the snipes, and also the ability to poke from afar is much more reliable onto Muan. So if maybe Bikertopia doesn't want to give it an Elsu, that is a go for them, because if they give an Elsu, maybe it's going to be a win for Bacon Time.
Yeah, because during their match against V Gaming, yeah, Bacon Time lost during their first game, but they actually had a dominating early game against V Gaming. It took so much for V Gaming to actually shut down Muan due to the range and due to how the rest of the team were able to protect him, alongside with Kim Sensei as well. He used particularly the Elsu in that match, and it took one team fight to change everything and take down Bacon Time through the process as well. But so many attempts were made by V Gaming, so I think it has to be that kind of execution coming in from Bikertopia to actually take down Bacon Time, because we were actually quite shocked on how well executed that play or strategy was coming in from V Gaming, not only from the game itself, but the drafting as well was all planned out towards the second game, towards them being the first pick, and also Bacon Time having not really the best options for game number 2 during that series of V-Gaming and Bacon Time. So this time it is gonna be more straining since it is a best of 5, so it can be quite challenging as well towards Bikertopia, because I do recall them struggling a bit during their match against a dope team.
Yep.
And if we do talk about a dope team being the team that fell down or said goodbye already towards this tournament, it does not say much good things about Bikertopia. If they can be defeated by a dope team, and a dope team recently has been taken out, it can spell trouble for Bikertopia. The weakness that they shown during their match against a dope team should be patched up quite quickly, because if it resurfaced again, it's not gonna look quite good for them. Because I do recall their match, a dope team versus Bikertopia, where a dope team actually won. It was due to a team fight and also the scaling of Zhenjiao, and they didn't really pick much of meta heroes. I remember them picking up a Thorn as their Marksman, I think, and they even picked up Florentino and Nakros as well. So they beat them through macro plays and also split push, alongside with a better team fight with not really the best picks. They picked up even a Zata during that particular game. So if Bikertopia were to show those kinds of misplays once again, especially in the laning phase, because I remember them making small mistakes during that game that were actually the stepping stones of a dope team to actually scale up pretty well and reach their power spikes earlier than expected of Bikertopia. So that's something that would happen again. Oh, it's not gonna be a good sign from them, especially in their match against Bacon Time, which always looks for mistakes. Always looks for mistakes on their respective opponent, and almost always punishes them.
Yeah, it's punishable for a side of whoever making mistakes, because the teams that already tell goodbye to AIC, they happen to make a lot of mistakes in terms of team fight, macros, and micro, and is going to be something that is hard to see when Bacon Time is in play. So if Bacon Time trying to punish a lot more mistakes for Bikertopia than we say it could be, but Bikertopia, they had 4 days to play. They have 2 days to relax. So just comes to the playoffs, they've seen a lot more games yesterday. What happened to ADT and what happened to Valencia when they lose. The investment comes to play, and I think Bikertopia has what it takes to beat down Bacon, but they have to be conscious. They had to be patient with the execution, because if not, Bacon will punish a lot more in terms of objectives and as well as the kills. But we saw a lot more when Bikertopia is not on the lead in terms of kill. They are not going to find kills. They are going to play some objective. They are going for goals and also minion waves. They're trying to just cope with all 2 lanes trying to push. They have to align the waves. So we saw a lot of big teams when they are not in front, they still has the goal lead, they still has the upper hand in terms of power spike and also scaling. So if Bikertopia could pay attention to that, maybe they could punish a lot more for Bikertopia, because Bacon is one of those teams that they doesn't go for a lot of kills. They still have waiting for their power spike to be online, like a Moan, maybe a Kim Sensei with the Iggy or Crixie pick. So they are waiting for the 5-minute marks, maybe 7 minutes into the game, to played a little more aggressive onto this layer, and also trying to take a lot of objective rather than team fight. That a lot of newly teams that could make a better team fight than them, because how the trades comes in for Bacon is powerful, and it takes a lot more courage for Bikotopia to take a lot more time to just bring out the game for the side of Bacon. So Bacon, not much to say about them because they still has much potential. They had a lot more experience in the AIC. Their players had something that they want to win this AIC for a long run, and Bikotopia should have some of aggressiveness, trying to say that, oh no, this year is Bikotopia's time. They had to play it really well. They have to make a mark in terms of what heroes could be played in game number 1 and what heroes could be played in game number 2, and the investment should be placed on for Bikotopia.
And finally, we are going to be starting the series here for Bikertopia and Bacon Time. It took a while for them to actually prepare, but it is to make sure that both teams will have no problems whatsoever, especially in when the games actually start. So there is some cons to it, which is the time it takes for the games to start. But we are now coming into their match. Bikertopia, T1's Zuri, Shin, Tilin, and Pika, still the same players coming in here for the side of Bikertopia, and for Bacon Time as well. We can assume that it's also gonna be the same for them.
Yep.
Yeah, Tao X, Muwan, Kim Sensei, Almond P, and Marky are gonna be the ones playing here for their respective roster on their respective team of Bacon Time. So not much, no changes at all in terms of roster. So our initial analysis can be right as well, especially in terms of accuracy. Well, we do see here the comparison in terms of first blood rate, win rate, kills per death, average damage, and average gold, leaning towards well, actually it is quite balanced. First blood rate more so on the side of Bikertopia, so we do see more aggressiveness coming in from them, which is a good sign actually. Bikertopia has been quite aggressive and consistent in maintaining their aggression, but it is onto the respective group. So it might be different in a sense in terms of matchups, because Bacon Time has been dealing with other teams like V Gaming and Mad Team as well. Bikertopia, they have been battling with their own opponents like a Dope Team and the others as well, like Dewa United, which has been taken out as well during the previous days. So their performance against each other might be different this time. It will be something that we are looking forward to see, especially that we're finally seeing Bikertopia and Bacon Time battle against each other. They are quite comfortable in their respective rooms or gaming rooms right now. And if you do check the key player matchup, Shin and Kim Sensei, we do see more aggressiveness coming in on the side of Bacon Time now, like on Kim Sensei's 7.8 KDA, a higher damage percentage, but in terms of gold difference for the role, Shin has been showing more on that particular standing.
I'm loving how the stats has shown that when Bikotopia as well as Bacon, they are one of the team that wins with their first blood kills. They have 100% win rate with both of them has 100% win rate with their first blood kills. So this is going to be interesting, because whoever got the first blood
will
maybe
win.
they're going to win. Yeah, maybe they're going to win the game. So the 85% the 85% first blood coming in for Bikotopia is telling that they are the one that are going to take the first blood, and they are trying to make aggressive gameplay here. So if they want to invest a lot in terms of early matchup and early heroes, this is the time because the Bacon has 58%, 85 for Bicotopia. So if they can take the first blood, maybe a skill into the early game, they can win versus Bacon. So maybe this is time for Bacotopia that shows that they are ones who greater than Bacon time. But Bacon, they still had much more that goes on because they had the bigger KDA versus Bicotopia. Bicotopia has 4, that Bacon has 7. So that is shown that a lot more to play for the side of Bacon time, and they have a lot of kills. But in terms of games, who's going to win? Bicotopia with the bans on the Elsu, as we mentioned. Nakros has been taken away as well, and the Lorion is open for side of Bicotopia.
We will see though Lorion being available for the first time after a long time actually. Normally we do see the Aya and the Lorion being the ones banned out, but since Bicotopia has banned out the Elsu, Bacon time does see the availability of the Nakrot. Good choice of heroes here coming in from the side of Bicotopia. They have gotten the Lorion, so it has a lot of synergy with the Hayate. Bacon time responding with a steal on that hero alongside with the availability of the Agnes Grip for their team, which has been quite consistent in terms of priority. It's either a pick or a ban on this hero, but we might actually see a double Marksman composition here on the side of Bicotopia. It hasn't really gotten much success overall in the AIC 2022, but when it happens, it's always amazing. So maybe Bicotopia is opting for the late game comeback since V Gaming made it happen during their match against Bacon time, and it might be the key to victory as well here for Bicotopia.
Yeah, the key victory is trying to find who's going to take the first blood as well. So Bicotopia, they had some early composition with the Varus and the Elendor with the Lorion pick, but Bacon time they played it really well because we know how TOX plays the Roxy onto the Roxy support. They had a lot more function with that Roxy pick, so they still had an early damage with Krixie and also the Hayati. So they have to wait for the 3-minute marks, maybe onto the Abyssal Dragon. They can play it really well. In terms of Bacotopia, is one of in this current matchup, they are one of the teams that have to wait for mistakes made by Bicotopia. So Bacon already know early matchup is strong for Bicotopia. They ban out the Necron as well as the Joker. One more types of heroes could be banned here, maybe onto the support role if the Varus goes onto the mid, maybe onto the Dark Slayer because they already have the Lorion.
So I'm also looking forward to what they're gonna be banning here. Is it gonna be the Laville, since it also has a high synergy on the Elendor? Most probably it's gonna be a double Marksman comp here for Bicotopia, right?
Yeah, it is going to be, because if Bicotopia want to invest on the Richter side lanes in this first matchup, it could be hideous in game number 2, because it's something that is really hard. Or maybe he can go for the Predator pick for Bicotopia on side lanes, because we saw it happen with Valencia, and it is going to be some inspiration for the other teams that they doesn't want to go for a lot more investment. They bring the Predator to just clear some wave, had a lot of damage in terms of laning. So Bicotopia could take that as an example for the side of Valencia. The ban of Richter for the side of Bacon. Bacon actually saved Bicotopia in terms of investment in game number 1. So yeah, Bacon time was going to be picked by them. They already have some AoE damage with Kodablis and also Nofal. They have one particularly Agnes Grips coming in for the Roxy, with the Zuka hovering now for element B. I'm kind of like the drops comes in for the side of Bacon, they only need maybe a Tain, maybe a Baldum with a Crixie Baldum combination, or want to play some aggressive with Tachi and Hayate combo.
You know what I'm looking forward to seeing? It hasn't been shown yet in the AIC 2022, the Raz and Superman. I think we have to wait a little bit more, maybe on the best of sevens, before we do see that kind of combination. What we're seeing so far being consistent is now the Zuka priority. Even yesterday, it has been picked up by all the teams, or at least the ones that had the chance to pick up Zuka. So now we are gonna be confirmed whether Bikertopia is gonna opt for a double marksman composition. Irie might be actually the better option here, especially in terms of team fighting. But I'm wondering what they are gonna be pairing up the Elendor with. Violet, yeah, it is available for taking, but I think they might opt for the Kafeni. It is gonna be their take now for the marksman department, though Leville has been available too, but I think they would opt to go with more AoE damage since it does have a lot of synergy with the Lorien. Team fighting would depend so much on Shin's setup later on, especially with the multi-man knock-up potential with the ultimate. So Bacon Time does have a lot of frontline power though, with the Zuka, with the Roxy, and with the Yena as well being hovered right now by Bacon Time. 3 frontline lineup and a really reliable damage dealer like the Crixie and also the Hayate as well. This is a stable lineup that Bacon Time is building or has built up for this game number 1. We're in Bikertopia is opting for explosiveness, especially towards late game. I think they might actually suffer a little bit against Bacon Time's pick potential in the early game. Okay, Mark is gonna be the one to use the Yana, so it's gonna be a topside gank focus on the side of Bacon Time, since Tao X has been quite consistent in terms of baiting out his matchup with the help of the marksman as well. So I'm wondering how this would pan out for both teams, since Kafeni doesn't really have a lot of mobility, and if you would to flicker in and pop out that Agnes grip, it's gonna be basically doomsday for the Kafeni.
Yeah, for me, that I'm liking the drops comes on for Bacon Time is because we seen a lot Irie pick, but not going to plan a lot. We seen from Valencia, we seen it from ADT as well as Flash before this, but when the Irie comes to play, it will be hard for the side of Bikertopia, because the ultimate coming for Irie, yes, it gives you movement speed, but the damage that Irie could deal is not up to par with how Yena been played here by Marky. It's going to be something that Bikertopia really needs to think about, because they need to shut down this game a little bit early, rather than Bikertopia has the game in early phase with the Crixie and also the Yena pick here, because the silence that Yena had is too much to be handled for Irie with the ultimate and also Elendor. Yena can shut down Elendor in a couple of seconds. We saw that when Valencia versus ADT, that XF been caught up with the full combo for Yena. And the Lorien pick here, I would say Lorien has a greater potential, but in terms of what happened with Valencia using Lorien, they are the ones that had a first losses, then it's going to be something for the side of Bacon Time as well. So if Bacon could play this a little bit of a patient game in terms of early, it doesn't take all fight, they wait for the Hayate, has some items, as well as the Crixie. One item is suitable for maybe a boomsticks, maybe a Katis for the first item, and they could win this matchup a lot more easy.
I think they would wait until they have their ultimates ready, since Bacon Time does have a team fighting based composition rather than a skirmish based one like a Bikertopia. But we're seeing a potential gank onto the top side. Good reading though by Bacon Time, especially for Marky, in disengaging. Bikertopia, they're being really aggressive. 85% first blood rate, and it might actually happen now as they dive under the tower, and T1 picks up that kill.
He doesn't want to give. Bacon Time goes back with the reset because Abyssal Dragon will be in the hands of Bikertopia, but they trade onto the Slayer first in terms of rotation, and they goes for the blue buff. And Bikertopia plays really aggressive. That is what I said. If Bacon could play it really patient and plays a little bit more safe in early matchup, they could have a savior. And Bikertopia doesn't want to give this a little bit easy for Bacon. They want to play aggressive. They want to force it out for Bacon Time. Plays a lot of mistakes. That block from reset from Bikertopia is the best possible block that Biker could do, and doesn't want to give Hayate more time to play with. But they take on Roxy, and in terms of early game, yes, it would be much more of a help if they take down Muan, but Muan is, and Hayate has the dashes, could run away. So in terms of the rotation, still winning by Bikertopia. The goal gap is widened for side of Bikertopia.
Yeah, all the laners are actually ahead with their respective opponent. The most that Bacon Time has in terms of keeping up is Kim Sensei, not really that much behind, or actually quite even with Shin. So it is allowing Bacon Time to be heavily centered towards the mid side, which is quite important in terms of rotation, because Kim Sensei can just raid towards the bot side or top side to help out his allies. But Bikertopia is grouping up on both side lanes. Actually, might be attempting to gank top side, since Marky has been winning the lane, but with numbers advantage, he might be in trouble here from Bikertopia, since we do see Shin actually being blocked there by Kim Sensei. Good response now with a flicker in. Tilian falls down, and here comes Bacon Time with their damage, shutting down the jungler of Bikertopia. The others have been able to disengage, but Tau X can actually catch someone with the Agnes grip, but fortunately Bikertopia survives a little bit.
Yep, Bikertopia really survived that jump, but now on the top side when Lorian comes in, and also I think Bacon Time is playing really safe in terms of how they can manage just spread the damage that Bikertopia had. But the Fusilat has been pushed, has a crucial moment, but still that bird is still on the side of Bacon Time, and it's going to be something that Bacon Time is trying to show. They are not going to take a full fight if they are not confident enough with their goal lead, because they are trying to push this Darksley lane, doesn't want to give Irie a good time. I don't know, Moonfall, and also the ultimate comes in from Pika, trying to force it away. Now the ultimate for Irie is not here. Maybe the objective will be contested for the side of Bacon Time on the Abyssal Dragon, and still Abyssal will be taken down by Zeph first on Zeroi on the bottom side here. Now the members of Bikertopia trying to reenact with the Abyssal takedown, and they still had much more potential here. They want to go for a steal, but they just can't do it.
There's also a pause for the meantime. There might be some concerns being addressed here by the side of Bikertopia. Let's see if it will be addressed immediately, since, well, the experience of the players is, of course,
Slippery,
the most
man.
important one.
The
Yeah.
phone is slippery.
Oh, the
It's
phone
okay
is too
though.
slippery. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need more
I
tissue
can
for
yeah,
that
we need
issue.
more tissue. Yep. Yep.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
We
Good
need
job.
more tissue. Good job. That's
Yep.
a save. That's a save.
Alright,
A
all
clutch,
good.
really a
all
clutch.
good.
It's all
Clutch,
good.
clutch.
Yeah.
They got
They
him.
still
they got
have.
him.
Oh, yeah. They have to help me, man. This is the first game. Come on, don't ridicule me. All right. Okay. Can I have some water?
Might actually ask for water. I like the setup though. Like there's also cameras being in front of them for their reactions as well, which we do see in game as well sometimes being flashed. And well, issues are there. We have to make sure no one is experiencing a tough time playing especially in the quarterfinals. But the tissue is quite funny though. Like if you do have sweaty hands, it might be a hassle, especially playing because it gets slippery and sometimes you are not able to press like the buttons effectively if your hands are sweaty. So maybe I think there are some accessories that you can purchase online, like finger gloves, I think, that actually helps with those.
Yep. Just it gets even warmer, but it can help a lot in terms of how we know for mobile gaming that we used to use powder to just make our fingers a little bit slippery, but now the re-engage comes in with the fusillade, skills on kill and now Bacon. They are mad right now because of that pause, as well as the kills comes in for Bicotopia. The re-engagement is too much to be handled with. This is what happened if you give a Gaffney as well as Lorian beside of gift for Bicotopia, but now Bacon they need to respond with the dives comes in for Bicotopia and bottom side. It takes the first turret on top side, and but Bicotopia has 2 turrets. They take tier 2s on bottom as well, so that's gonna leave a lot more space for Muan to just farm up. But it's going to be really hard for the side of Bacon if they lose tier 2s on bottom.
Yeah, and well, Shin has been making a difference here, especially in the zone control. It is actually hard for Bacon Time to group up due to that potential knock-up that Shin can actually make happen for the team. And now with them having the lead, it's not so much though, it's like 2,000 gold lead, but it is actually enough for them to have the zone capability away from objectives. We do see Bacon Time trading out some though in the process, but it's not as much objectives that Bicotopia already has made. Like they're already down 3 turrets compared to 1 from Bacon Time, and Muan might actually be in trouble. Throws out the Kunai Blitz, but Pika immediately disengages preemptively actually from that possible retaliation from Muan. So things are looking stable on the bot side. Top side though is starting to be a bit tense since Bicotopia is also grouping up towards mid. They might actually engage here onto Tau X, but fortunately no one is committing just yet. Tau X might throw out the Agnes Grip, actually misses the target, and now he might be in trouble. Marquis on the side, but Zirui is actually dealing a lot of damage. Throws out the Fusilla just for the zone control, but Bacon Time still has their members quite healthy. They will opt to disengage back to their base, but they might actually need to come to top side since Bicotopia is already starting to slay. Marquis is trying to engage, trying to steal it out, but Thielen has to punish, and Marquis might actually be punished. Takes a lot of damage, but is successful in disengaging. Now Bicotopia still are relatively healthy. They can path towards bot side, towards the Holy Dragon, but Bacon Time is the first to go on that location, and they do have a lot of coverage here on the bot side river. Bicotopia closing the distance. T1 engages. Zirui piles in the damage. Tau X might actually be in trouble. Fusillade dealing a lot. But Shin is gonna be the first one to drop down after unfortunately taking a lot of damage from Bacon Time. Now they transition onto the mid. Not much suffered here by Bicotopia, but their momentum has been stopped for now.
The bait comes in from Bacon Time. They force the teleportation comes in from Zen. And at the moment when Zen just goes over the wall and he just saw 4 members of Bacon Time. He has just been fooled around for Bacon currently. But now the side of Bacon, they takes one Holy Dragon. They can't play this out. They just find the force out. Bicotopia plays a really good mistakes here. They takes one with the double damage, and also Kim Sensei secures the kill. Oh no, they're making mistakes back for the side of Bacon Time as well. Both of these teams is choking around in that team fight alone. Bicotopia plays a really big choke point. They lost 1 members as well as Bacon Time.
Yeah, it was actually a good start coming in from Bacon Time. It was a 2 versus 5, but Bicotopia actually was able to retaliate quite quickly after losing Tilin. They got Tawex, they got the turret in the mid, and they actually had more during that fight. So it might be difficult for Bacon Time just yet, but they do try in the mid. Shin is quite low, might actually get taken down. Mark is there to finish that kill, and Bicotopia has no answer. Muan again, quite low, but still alive, and Bacon Time slowly is chipping away those opportunities away from Bicotopia. After being quite risky here with the plays of Bicotopia, they might lose T1, but they actually retaliate. Pika is taking a lot of damage, forced to go invulnerable for a split second. But Amon P almost got one. Well, they got Zirui in exchange for his life, but they also get the tower. They get the opportunity to start the Slayer as well. Slowly but surely, Bicotopia is losing their grip.
Yeah, this is going to be the handle for the side of the Bicotopia because of the lost Zuri onto the process. But now the members of Bicotopia, they had the punish, but they cannot go. The only Dark Slayer be taken away by Bacon. It's too late for Bicotopia to retake that possession, and because of they only have T-Lin alone, and also it is too late for Bicotopia because of the damage that Bacon Time has currently. They're only not having Elmon P on their side with no punish, and the Dark Slayer will help a lot. It will help a lot for Bacon Time. It just takes a lot more rejective with 5 towers in terms of Bacon Time only have 2-3 towers to be exact. They want to take a lot, but that moonfall from Kim Sensei, that is some desperate moonfall. Maybe that is something to push around. Topside have a lot more aggressiveness comes in for the side of Bicotopia, but the chase is going into the mid lane as well. Members of BRO really need to run away. Bacon Time is really confident with their attack.
Yeah, this is the thing about Bacon Time. They always look for opportunities to win the game, and it's actually hard to completely shut them down. Now with the Slayer marching onto the top, Muan might actually get caught out there, but quickly disengages from 4 members of Bicotopia. Bot side is being pressured as well here by Almond P, while the rest of Bacon Time is trying to prevent Bicotopia from retaliating. They already got bot side tower, so they're almost close to tying up the structure score here from Bicotopia, and they are starting the Holy Dragon as well, catching up with the gold now by Bicotopia. But teamfight has started. Muan is dealing a lot of damage onto Pika, shuts him down. T-Lin engages into the front, but might actually be in trouble. T1 is going in, but not actually enough in terms of damage. Shen tries to capitalize on the numbers advantage, but Bacon Time actually is on point. Under disengage, they got more, and they did not trade anything out of that.
Yeah, Bicotopia, they are currently in the late game. It's hard to play it on the Irie, and the Irie itself is if you're trying to win in the mid-game phase, it's going to be easy. But in terms of late game, the IRA will not produce much more of a threat for Bacon Time, and only the Caffeine as well as the Varus could play it really well. Because of Lorient, yes, we know the crowd control is there, but he needs something. He needs someone to just give a lot more damage. They have to wait for the Caffeine for Bicotopia, but in terms of only 4 members versus 5, that has a lot of late game potential, is going to be somehow a hard match for Bicotopia. Bacon Time, they are patient. They are waiting for the right moment here, but also Muan plays a little bit aggressive on bottom side, trying to find the, trying to freeze the lane, trying to push a lot more for the side of Bacon. Moonfall has been opened up. T1 trying to find the crack coming in for the side of Bacon. Where do they push? Trying to find a way, goes in with a couple more damage, but Lorient still has the Lorient doesn't have the ultimate just yet. So they have to wait for the 32nd minute mark to find Bicotopia's opening. They have the Dark Lord Slayer has been spawned into the game. But the Bacon Time, they need to push this pretty carefully because of Bicotopia already have the possession onto the jungle bottom side.
Yeah, this is the crucial part of the match. A while ago, Bikertopia has been quite aggressive and actually getting the lead, but Bacon Time after the 12-minute mark, I think, they have caught up with the Bikertopia now, trying to catch out Pika. He is trying to deal with 3 people from Bacon Time now. Here comes the other members punishing Tau X now, and Muan is just trying to flee. It does successfully, but now onto the mid side, T1 might be traded out. Almond P is there to help Marky, and they do get the kill. And a 4 versus 4 setup and a trade of supports. Bikertopia has enough courage to actually go onto the Slayer objective, and they do have a lot of damage to quickly clear this out. Bacon Time is being pressured right now. Marky has to recall, and they actually have to give the Slayer away. So Dark Slayer handed over to Bikertopia. This will give them the opportunity now, a chance to open up the base of Bacon Time, and it's now marching into the mid.
Yeah, it's going to be somehow a hard time for the side of Bicotopia. They take it out with the Dark Slayer for them. But Bacon Time itself, they are waiting for the redemption mode here, because if they want to take down this Dark Lord, they have to go full on force. But it's going to be an ambush comes in for Bicotopia. They've been waiting a lot, giving T-Lin onto the side, on top side here, trying to push with the Yena, with Marky just being the guard, but that is not much of a damage that Bicotopia could give in this Dark Lord. It's going to be hard to take this down. 3 members versus 4 in the mid lane. They have to just bait it out. Bait the Starry Knight comes in from Zen, and that moment of time they can pull this off. But yep, the ultimate has been used first, and now they go full on onto the Dark Lord, and no push has been made for the side of Bicotopia. The push has retreat for now because of Bicotopia could not go full on force 4 men versus 3 in mid lane, so they have to wait for Tigli, and they have to wait also for Pika to make this fight happen. But the fight breaks out on top side. Find a way with it. Oh no, no, they still had the resurrection, still living for Muan with the Death Sickle as well. They lost T-Lin, they lost Zin in the process. Only 3 members left for Bicotopia to defend their honor, tier 2 in mid lane as well as the core. But Bacon Time, this is not the possible moment because they lost as well MMP and Marquee.
Yeah, the fight was actually split up towards the top side and the red side jungle of Bacon Time. Good job coming in from Bikertopia, actually, because T-Lin got caught out. But fortunately, he had a second life. He also stalled out a little bit more so that his teammates were able to actually retaliate on that small skirmish. And Bacon Time, after being zoned out a little bit from the red side jungle, they couldn't retaliate onto the top side anymore. So it resulted to a 2-for-2 trade, wherein Bikertopia still has a little bit of hope in this game. They do have a lot of damage. I think the only problem that they do have is that they don't have that much crowd control in their lineup aside from Shin. So in terms of frontline power, it is lacking compared to Bacon Time, but in terms of damage, they have quite a lot. So Bacon Time has to position themselves quite effectively. It's a one-time burst that they have here, a setup for Muan, and they will be able to clear all the members here of Bikertopia. But if they are gonna be kited away by especially Tilin and Zirui, it's gonna spell out trouble here for Bacon Time. Now they're just eyeing onto each other. It is a long game right now. We're reaching 20 minutes already, and this is the good part of this game. They're on equal grounds. We don't actually know for sure who is winning as of the moment, because anything can happen. All structures are almost even. Yes, Bacon Time is ahead in terms of structures, but the damage or the win conditions still remain for both teams, and they're actually doing a really good job playing it aggressively but also defensively. Tau X has been looking for that Agnes grip pick, but the Bikertopia has been consistent in disengaging. Now, T1 actually gets caught out. Shin doesn't get that knock up and might be in trouble. Pika tries to retaliate here for the team. Marky's taking a bit of damage. T1 disengages. Tau X has to flee, and as Bikertopia does have a lot of damage in their kit, but Bacon Time transitions towards the Slayer, but they changed their mind since Bikertopia didn't recall just yet. They do have a better positioning though on the side of Bacon Time. They are forcing a team fight here, and Bikertopia is looking to retaliate since T1 already is back to full health. They transition towards the Slayer, and Bacon Time is being drawn towards this location. They spot them out, but can they get the steal? No, Thielen gets it, and they quickly disengage. They get the Slayer for free.
Yeah, that is some late rotation comes in for Bacon, because they thought they had the time, because they have to reset the Marky health in that kind of matchup. And this is going to be really hard because of how the damage that Zero had. So members of Bacon, they know this is going to be a really hard matchup because of the late game potential that Kathleen has, and they have to wait for one best Kuna Blitz. But whenever Muan is in front, the members of Bikertopia, that Venom and also the Bloody Kiss could land in the face of Muan, and that it could be game for Bikertopia. So Bacon Time, they have to wait for the perfect moment. They have to pull away this Dark Lord Slayer in the mid lane and played it really defensively, trying to kite out some mistakes that been made by Bikertopia. But in terms of this matchup, Bikertopia has made less mistake what they used to make in terms of how many damage that they could give. Half health for the Dark Lord Slayer, one jump is been waiting for Bikertopia. This Lorian has been played. Venom comes in. Lorian with the orb as well. They're still not losing any members. But right on the backside that comes in with Almond P with the ultimate. Still have the resurrection. Trying to kill the members of Bikertopia. But Bacon Time is defensively powerful. One by one been taken away. Zero
they're
has
dead.
been shut down. And they lost Dylan in the process as well. But no, the members of Bacon, they lost 3. Muan is still alive, but Muan is the brink of death, and as well as Deox. Deox has the resurrection, but if they can defend this, it would be something. But Kuna is still there, but it's a core knockout for Bikertopia. Takes the game number 1.
The most crucial part of that match is that Bikertopia has made it possible for them to initiate because of Shin. And since the Slayer is still above half health, they were able to penetrate the base. Shin got taken out due to Tau X's Agnes grip, but the retaliation of Bikertopia in that fight was actually quite impressive. They were scattered, yes, but that's where they strive, because Bacon Time has to group up. they have to actually throw out their skills in a wombo combo fashion so that they can win a team fight. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case in that last fight. Bikertopia had the upper hand. Good at them, especially by Muan. In terms of defending their base, they almost had it. They almost had a chance to actually stay alive in that fight, but Bikertopia, because of their damage, their single target abilities as well, being on point, especially for T1, consistently engaging onto the members of Bacon Time, paved their way into winning this game number 1. So now, as we do check the replays or the highlights of this game number 1, I think it was a 22-minute game or maybe even higher. Bacon Time put up a really good fight, but Bikertopia, despite this win, has also invested quite a lot of resources. The only difference though is that they pushed through a high risk, high reward double marksman composition, which normally isn't the one being chosen by the other teams due to its low win rate, but they would have more options actually in the next succeeding games.
Yeah, they still have the Richter to be played on with the Florentino as well. But yeah, this is maybe one game that Irie could not make it, but in terms of luck, she can win at that moment because that clash alone when they lost Zuri. But yeah, Bikertopia has a lot of damage with T-Lane. That double ADC plays has a lot of damage, and it would be something that Bikertopia really needs to win the game number 1 because of their picks. And now they don't have the Caffeine as well as the Elandor in the game number 2, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard a little bit in terms of the drafts that could be made in game number 2. But Bacon Time, they did really well in terms of what their draft is, and they have suffered a loss much onto investment and the game itself. They doesn't have the Yena yet, and also the maybe because of they gives a lot more potential, but Hayate also not possible for the game number 2. The gives Lorian that moment when the Lorian has been picked. We can say Bikertopia will have a good game because of the Lorian is so much of the crowd control. The Crixie cannot fight the Lorian power spike, but Crixie has a good game in this kind of matchup, but only one mistake is to be dictated by any team fight in that moment of time, because 23 minutes into the matchup, that team fight alone is maybe a roller coaster of a fight at that point.
I think one of the key differences as well was T1 taking a lot of, or soaking a lot of damage and also attention from Bacon Time. We see him engaging, disengaging, and then engaging once again just to zone out most of the members of Bacon Time. It is actually one of the reasons why Muan could not fully commit onto a team fight. It's because of his pressure. So Bikertopia actually had a lot of win conditions that they met in this game, more than Bacon Time. But I'm actually really happy as well with Bacon Time's performance, especially in their attempt in coming back into the game, because we saw earlier into that match they were down 2,000, 3,000 gold behind. They came back and actually were ahead a little bit, I think 500 to 1,000 gold up. But the difference though is that they suffered also the struggle of having a composition that relies on grouping up, but kind of fails in terms of finding those pick-offs, because they had the Agno script ready most of the time, but they could not find the best target. Tau X always looks for the picks, but it's actually not his fault. It was Bikertopia's rotation that led to their safety as well, because they were also grouping up. At most, we saw T-Lin getting caught out onto the top side, but despite that scenario, Bikertopia actually recovered quite quickly and effectively during that match, matching it with a 2-for-2 trade that prevented Bacon Time from punishing them heavily. So that shows improvement on the side of Bikertopia, and it might actually be a good sign if they are going to be able to continuously make these kinds of plays alongside with these high risky compositions. They might have a good chance in defeating Bacon Time.
Yeah, Bacon Time trying to play it really passive in terms of early game. They lost the first blood into the hands of Bikertopia. As we mentioned, whoever gets the first blood gets the win. So Bikertopia played it really well with the kills that they want to. So they had the first win, that is with the Ivory pick, but they invested a lot in terms of 4 heroes that they had with the T lane, Zin, Zero, and also the T1. In terms of damage, I would say that the most damage dealt it will be Kim Sensei with 137,000 damage, but T1 plays it really well in terms of Taeyok. Has not enough of a crucial Agnes grip been played just yet, so Marky is maybe somehow on top of Pika, but MMP versus T-Lane, that is some hard Elendor to be killed with using onto that Zuka alone.
And the MVP is actually going to be Zerui, and I want to say why as well. During early game, he was actually independent in the Abyssal Dragon lane. He was dealing with 2 members from Bacon Time and actually chunking down a lot of HP away from them. And that 1v2 aggression that he had on the bot side allowed Bikertopia to secure their first blood before the Abyssal Dragon, or before the objectives spawn up, and it led to Bikertopia's initial or like early game lead and aggression as well. And he dealt a lot of damage in that game, particularly, well, with the help of the other team as well. I want to commend T1 though as well because of his performance. He had dealt a lot of damage as well, almost the same as T-Lin in that particular game, and he's a support, so that shows how much synergy Bikertopia actually has as a team, not only when dealing with the teams on the respective group, but also to the high caliber ones or the other high caliber ones like Bacon Time. This game number 1 shows how big of an improvement Bikertopia has shown over the past few days.
Yeah, because of how aggressive they are in terms of early game, that Bacon Time cannot cope with the damage as well with the double ADC. They played double ADC, they still play aggressive because of the Varus is much more reliable in terms of rotation and also has lifesteal, and it could be hard for the members of Bacon because they invested a lot as well. They have the Yera, they have the Zuka as well as the Grixie into the mid lane, and Hayate will not be present for the game number 2 for side of Bacon. And it could be somehow a headache for Bacon because they have to win the game number 2, just want to steal away one more types of composition because they can play early fights for Bacon, but I don't think that is one of the styles of Bacon Time to just take down Bikertopia because of how Bikertopia plays it strong in the early game. But one mistake that they made trade in that mid lane, particularly when they only 2 members versus 4, and that is the choke point for the side of Bikertopia. Less of a choke point, maybe they can win this like a 3-0 win is hard, but it can be because one of them who's get the first blood is going to win the matchup.
Yeah, I agree so much on that because of the percentage. Like it was actually their win condition, especially when both of the teams were compared earlier. Whoever gets the first blood usually gets the win. So we had the reaction earlier during that first blood that, oh, maybe Bikertopia would actually win this game, and they made it through. Bacon Time tried to come back in this game, but unfortunately, Bikertopia had more opportunities to make due to the lead that they did have already in this game. So now we're seeing the global picks and bans here, especially from game number 1. So a lot of meta heroes are going to be taken away from both teams, but they do still have a lot of options for sure. We have seen already yesterday that the other teams had drafted effectively with the other meta heroes available for their games. And I think if the series is not going to be extended towards the game number 5, well, they would have a lot of options. But if we were to reach game 4, maybe it would be different this time. But starting this off, Bacon Time is still going to be onto the red side. Bikertopia remains on the blue side. So now, instead of banning out the Nakroth, Bikertopia will ban out the Lorian away from Bacon Time, which is actually a smart move. They would have the Nakroth priority. If Bacon Time does not ban it out, they have the option of banning out the Nakroth or the Elsu. They're thinking about it, and they do have to think about it a lot, because one of those will be first picked here by Bikertopia.
Yeah, they have to ban out the Lorian though, because of Bikertopia already used down the Lorian. So now Bacon Time trying to force out the Lorian pick, but they have to ban onto the Roxy with the side of Bacon, because still the same kind of composition, but T1 could play the Roxy pretty well, like a Tails play. In terms of banning, they banned the Roxy, and the Nakroth has been chosen. Not going to make some time to think about, oh, the Nakroth. Do we want a Nakroth? Can I play the Nakroth? No, it would be a Nakroth all the way. But I can see the excitement onto the Raz hover here from GG. But I would say this is game number 2. Raz will not pop up just yet. But if they want to play aggressive, they could go for Raz, Joker, and also the Superman for Bacon Time. But I don't think that Bacon would go for an early composition, because they are not a strong early matchup. They doesn't have a strong early matchup. They go for the Caffney and also the Richter pick here. Secures on the late game else and also mid. And they had to they still can't go for Richter, Dark Slayer, maybe support. So we have to wait for what happened in terms of the third pick here. Maybe for Elendor for the side of Bacon, they want to force the double AD gameplay. What happened with the game number 1, it could be happen for the side of Bacon.
Yeah, I think what Bacon Time is doing right now is a bait here for Bikertopia to use the Elsu as well, which will exhaust the remaining heroes for the next few games. But I think they're not biting it as of the moment. They're not letting them pick up these 2 meta heroes. They do lock in the Yorn and the Baldum instead, which does make a lot of impact into the game as well. Yorn, despite not being picked up that much, it does have a lot of impact as well, with the damage, with the setups as well. And if you are to be paired up with the Baldum, you have a lot of comeback and setups as well, especially with the prison. It's too much for team fighting. Bacon Time does have a lot of setups for now, and we did see the performance of Zirui with the Kafeni earlier. It can be mimicked here by Muwan, especially him being really good on the Marksman department. Now, Bacon Time is investing heavily on mobility in this game, picking up the Liliana alongside with the Richter. So I think they're gonna be focusing on early game as well to match the aggression of Bikertopia.
Yeah, I think they have to match it up because if Biketopia has an early composition and also the late securance for the Yarn, because of how Biketopia already invested a lot of ADC in the game number 1. They had the Elondor out, they had the Gaffney as well. Now this is the trade. You have a lot more, but now this is the trade that you have to make is pick up the Yarn first and maybe pray for the win in game number 2 and force it out in game number 3. And Biketopia doesn't want to use a lot of investment trying to find, okay, maybe we don't have maybe we don't need to use the Yarn, maybe we can go for Hayate versus the Gaffney. That is kind of bad matchup because of the burst damage, also the DPS that Gaffney has, and the Yarn may be a suitable kind of champion that could fight out the Gaffney with the damage that Yarn has, but it's late into late game. So with the Baldo matchup, they still have the Crixie to be played, but been taken out by Bacon. Iggy is open for Biketopia if they want to, or they can go for the mid lane Talon if they wanted that early aggression. So it's okay for the side of Biketopia. A lot more champs could be played here versus a Liliana. I would say Illumia could be best, but they bring out the Yarn, so they need some scaling into mid lane because they had the Necron. They need some control mage in mid, so a lot more of a burst maybe. So maybe a Kali could be picked by Biketopia trying to force it out with the Necron gameplay, but in terms if they want to bring down the Kali, they need something that is more fierce on top side. Maybe they want to force a Florentino or maybe a Yena for their side because they already save a lot with the RA pick in the game number 1. What we haven't seen a lot yet in the playoff is the Tachi onto the support, and it's a welcome back for the Tachi because in the group stage we've seen a lot of Tachi, but in this current matchup Tachi, this is the first appearance in the playoffs.
Which is also good because it can be flexed towards the support role as well. It has a lot of flexibility as a hero. So Bikertopia now, we're gonna be seeing another Han. Bikertopia is flexing a lot of heroes. I think they're messing with me as well. Hovering the Raz in the mid lane. You have said that it might not be big, but it does get picked up in this game, so it is gonna be the debut of the Raz, which is gonna be not on its full potential, because normally it does have with the Superman, but it actually fits with the aggressive playstyle of Bikertopia, so they can make this happen. What they are lacking though in their lineup is, well, the same one that they had in the first game, the frontline power, but they can actually match it against Bacon Time. So far, Bacon Time has to, if they were to invest with another frontline, then they would have a better sustain in themselves, but I think they're also gonna be popping out that double Marksman composition, which will be risky, yes, because of the amount of burst that Bikertopia has, but I think there's basically saying now that if Bikertopia can pull it off against us, then we can do it as well against them.
Well, I'm loving the drafts comes in for Bikertopia. They have the UA, they have the Raz, and also the Nacross. Only they invest in ADC lane, they invest on Yarn a little bit more onto late game security to fight out the Gaffney. And in terms of team fight, we've seen a lot of Yarn has the upper hand in terms of Gaffney, but the Tachi is the question. It's hard to kill down with the Tachi with the Yarn pick here. Because of the ultimate from the Tachi, he can just evade the passive that the Yarn has and also just drop down in the face of the Yarn. But Bacon Time, if they want to play aggressive, this is the time, because Biketopia has an early face front shutdown kind of composition. They have burst, they had slows, they had much more of a tank coming in with the Ball Doom. But when the wall prison is not connected, that is where the bacon time could punish the members of Biketopia. But bacon time, can you do it in game number 2? The momentum is in the hands of Biketopia. It's hard to execute, but they need to run away from that wall prison. That wall prison will dictate the winning phase for Bacon or Biketopia.
Explosiveness versus a high consistent DPS or like endurance game from Bacon Time. Biketopia is being threatened a taste of their own medicine right now, and it does make a lot of sense. Bacon Time can also pull off this kind of composition, and now they're actually invading the jungle camp here of T-Lin. This is how you shut down a Nakroth. Textbook play with the proper invade and proper guessing as well where he would actually start. They find the perfect target, and now it is actually being answered back by Biketopia, but not fast enough. Now it's going to be a big struggle here for T-Lin, because Almond P is already level 2, T-Lin is still level 1, and we're seeing now the early game being on point here from Bacon Time, shutting down the Nakroth, which is gonna affect heavily on his rotations and his scaling as well. So Biketopia might be delayed in their farming as of the moment, but they can still pop off in this game with their mid-game power spike. I think it's gonna be mid-heavy once again, especially with the setup available here by Shin.
Yeah, because of how for the side of Biketopia in the early phase they are strong, but when Bacon shows they are confident with their drafts, maybe Biketopia could play it really safe, because it's just really hard. The Mr. Dragon is not on contestation, but the Dark Slayer will be contested by 2 members of Bacon on top side, because it's just too hard. When level 4 Cavity, you want to play it out onto that Abyssal Dragon, and it could be dangerous because of the Fusilade itself, but Biketopia secures the first blood. Is this another win for Biketopia? Because 100% win rate with the first blood they had. So Bacon Time needs to play this really well. They need to stretch this game for Elendor and also the Cavity. Or maybe play it a little more aggressive. The goal gap is still on their side, but it's going to be something that early matchup is Biketopia throne. So if Biketopia could trade this really well, the Liliana would not have a good game versus the Raz because of the slows and also the combo that Raz could give. Maybe Biketopia needs to play it really conservatively, because not enough of a damage deal onto objective. Like, you only have the Nakroth to just takes a lot more towers instead with Zeri. Only 3 members trying to play aggressive, trying to find a pick off just like this wall charge, but no, trying to find onto the Yorns first, but Yorn with the burst damage is too much to be handled by only one Tachi as well as the Cavity. But the re-engage comes in with the wall prison, takes 1. Tachi has been beat back here.
Here comes
Chaos
Shin.
really needs to run away. Shin's onto the back with the ultimate, comes in. T1 secures the kill onto Mu1 first. Now into the mid lane. Zin gives a lot more damage, but a little bit too far there. 1 combo is needed, comes in from Shin and secures the kill number 2 for the side of Biketopia.
Yeah, in the mid lane, Pika is gonna get spot out there by 2 members of Bacon Time, but not much threat actually coming in from those 2 as of the moment. Biketopia does have a little bit of a lead in terms of the kills, but in the economy department, it's not really reflecting that much, because Almond P is still ahead in terms of gold against T-Lin, and Biketopia still has yet to reach their power spikes. They do have a lot of explosive power, but that's where they also meet their con. If Bacon Time is gonna be able to avoid those setups and avoid those engage coming in from Shin and the T1 and T-Lin as well, then they would be able to retaliate effectively. And so far we haven't seen that in this game. We might see it in the next 20 seconds because the objectives are spawning up once again, and either way there is gonna be an interaction between these two teams because Bikertopia does have a faster clearing of objectives, but we're not seeing them group up just yet. They're a little bit delayed in their clearing of waves. Almond P is in the top lane trying to help out in that push towards the tower, but a good clear there by Pika. T-Lin engaging onto the mid laner of Bacon Time, while the other teams, the other members are actually starting this Abyssal Dragon. Good take there by Muan, but they might actually lose Tao X in the process. A good disengage allows them to play this out safely, but there's also a fight in top, a fight in the bot. Muan gets flicked up, but he is able to disengage successfully. Now Bacon Time slowly squeezing away these objectives without casualties, is allowing them to actually come back in this game because mid-game power spikes will happen and there will be the damage coming in here from Bacon Time later on. But Shin gets that 3-man knock-up with the combo punch as well. They will try to get Muan and is successful in doing so, but not without a trade. And Muan will get that shutdown onto Shin, but that play was actually quite amusing to see because that's how Iraz goes in. And now top side, T-Lin might actually get taken out. Pika tries to disengage and he goes back in only to die under the hands here of Almond P. So there is a trade of kills, but I think they will still lose their bot side tower. Here is where we see that combination of Shin to get that 3-man knockback, but they actually had to give up the life there of Shin. Topside though is a lot of casualty coming in from Bikertopia, but they are trying to get a trade at least onto Marky, but here comes Kim Sensei with another kill onto Shin, punishing that overextension. There's even someone onto the mid side dying. Zerui will fall down, Muan will get traded back, but still Bacon Time is gonna be the one winning on those trades. Pika tries to retaliate, but to no avail.
This is too much casualties for the side of these both teams because of how Bikertopia has early advantage. But Bacon Time, they know this is the mid game, this is the mid spike comes in. They had to play more aggressive, trying to find more objectives. And look at how Bacon Time, okay, they have to force it onto Elmon P, but a little bit too far with the metamorphosis. And it's somehow hard for the side of Bikertopia. They are in the phase of mid game. They still have to wait for till Lin has more damage. But in terms of gold, maybe LMP has much more. But now the wall prison does not connect to any members for Bacon Time. But Bikertopia, if they want this Dark Slayer, they have to trade it carefully because the members, look at Taeyong, a little bit too tanky there, as well as Mulan on the top side. They have to force this. They have to go Zin. Couple more damage. One snipes comes in, but T-Lin survived with the Dark Slayer in hand. And Bikertopia still drills in terms of goal, and they have to wait for that Yarn. That Yarn have damage. This is the game for the side of Bikertopia. But Bacon Time, this is not the time for chilling down because this is maybe some of the punishment has been pulled out. Fusla a little bit too early there, comes up with the ultimate from Taeyong. The re-engage is not been possible inside of Bikertopia because it's a little bit too low here for the members and they can't go for the back line. The Dark Clay has been taken down and none of any damage been dealt into the mid lane turret here. So that engagement is not a good engagement for side of Bikertopia. That is a forceful, maybe a desperate move. But bottom side here, Judgment Fury as well as the Jury Fury, but takes the kill onto Elman P as well. Doesn't have the metamorphosis to run away. Bikertopia across the LMP, but still has the resurrection and also has the buy time. And now the members of Bicotopia, they can go more aggressive if they want to, because they still trailing in terms of gold. They need the gold gap to be widened for them. If not, in the late game, it's hard for that Yarn to be online. Only have the 16 and the Eclipse of Santi. Only one more item left to wait for that Yarn.
Yeah, he is starting to scale up quite hard, but that play, that setup by T1 allows them to get that kill onto Kim Sensei and the tower as well. So a bit of an oopsie there coming in from Bacon Time, but they still try to get that kill. They get Zerui in the process, only to lose more. They got a kill as well onto Pika, so at least it's gonna be a 2-for-2 and a trade of towers as well. Bikertopia overstaying, I think, and that's where the con of their lineup shows. If Bacon Time is able to dodge those wombo combo coming in from Bikertopia, they would be able to win on those extended fights. They got the tower onto the top and another one in the mid as well. So now we're seeing a gold lead coming in from Bacon Time as well. Here is where we see the replay of that messy fight actually, but it led to Bacon Time getting most of that situation as well. Bikertopia, yeah, they do have late game scaling of Zerui for later on, but if he is gonna get picked off that easily, it's not gonna matter that much. And Bacon Time has been consistent in getting those pick-offs onto him. Marky might actually get caught here, but I think it's gonna be the difference though in terms of retaliation, because Bacon Time has a lot of members rotating towards the bot side, and since they are successful in zoning out Bikertopia, they will get this Holy Dragon. Bikertopia taking the Slayer as a trade, but Bacon Time is accelerating this game with a push into the mid lane, drawing out Bikertopia to fight them. And they do have a lot of firepower, and takes out Pika as well. Marky nearly gets taken out there, especially by Zeri as well, but they still commit onto the fight. They took out Almond P. Here comes damage, and Moon gets caught out by Zerui, and now this is gonna be an oopsie here by Bacon Time. They get punished, losing 3 members after trying to get a kill onto Pika a while ago. Now, Bikertopia pushing into the mid. They have the numbers advantage. They can actually take this tower down while spawning up the Doombringer as well. So they have a lot of setups in play 18 seconds before Kim Sensei spawns up, and they are getting a lot of gold here. They have a lot of range, and it's gonna take some time before Bacon Time is able to retaliate. They do have the Yarn, dealing a lot of damage. Market tries to engage Tau X as well. The Fossilod is zoning out some of the members here of Bikertopia, but they're already done with their job. They have broken out the base here of Bacon Time.
They take tier 2 turrets on top side. They bring down the tier 3 turrets in mid, and also the next objective will be bottom side here. The re-engage comes in for Bikertopia is one to be predict for Bacon Time, because of how we saw T-Lane already resetted, and T-Lane just goes in with a couple more damage, and that damage coming for Zerui is already online. They already have 1 more items, and it could be damagey, and it could be one of the times that Yarn will win in the AIC. It could be something T-Lane really needs to run away with the Nacron he has. None of the members of Bikertopia is on top side. He needs to control the wave on top, because of they need that Bacon members to be in the mid lane with force for the team fight. But if T-Lane been caught up first, it would be scary for the members of Bikertopia. While Prison takes 1, maybe this is a kill, gives to Zerui. They lost Marky in the process. It could not be happier for the fans of Bikertopia. If this current matchup is still on the rise for Biketopia. We could see a 2 games win for Biketopia itself. The draft's been good, the game's been well, but now turret is going to be taken away. Aggressive movement on top side, bottom side will be pushed by Pika. They could knock on top side as well. 4 members versus 5, they're only focusing on the turret because of that Yorn passive is chugging down the turret a little bit more than usual. Bottom turret is tier 2 left. 1 turret left to be the super minion to be drive in inside of the base of Bacon. This is where Bacon make their mistakes in game number 1. Could they defend it? Could they make the same mistake? It is in the hands of them. So 1 defense is left to be put here by Bacon time.
And the Dark Lord Slayer is spawning up. So not really the best position here for Bacon time as of the moment, because this Slayer is gonna fall down pretty fast because of the damage here of Zirui and T-Lin. They're trying to retaliate right now, but it's taking a while. Now with the Slayer taken down, Facilon is being thrown in. A lot of damage being dealt here by Bacon time, but so does Bikertopia now onto the backside. Marky and Muan dead. They're trying to flee, but all those projectiles are hitting them. Amon-P falls out a second time, and it might just be it. Bikertopia now pushing into the mid. They have the Dark Slayer as well, marching in for them, and Tauex does not have enough damage anymore to sustain this game. Bikertopia has done it, a 2-0 victory and 1 game away from making this victory and taking down Bacon time.
Could we see a trio win for Biketopia? The drafts has been made. It's really in their favor with the Nacross play. But it could be hard for Bacon time to realize 1 game away for the semi-final for the side of Biketopia. And also lower bracket for whoever lost in game number 3. Biketopia plays it really well with early composition. After they get the first blood, they win. And Biketopia, Bacon time, they are not playing aggressive like they used to be in terms of the in the groups. And we saw the stats. Whoever got the first blood, they will win the matchup. And Biketopia showed it pretty well. 100% win rate with the first blood. Still stay strong with the matchup here, but Bacon, they are not well. They are playing a little bit okay, but in terms of the energy that Biketopia has shown, it's not up to par to take down this Biketopia matchup.
And this is where we see the struggle right now of Bacon time. Yeah, they had a decent amount of early game, but we saw more of a resistance coming in from Bikertopia, especially after they make the proper calls and engages onto the members of Bacon time. We can recall the 3-man knockback by Shin, and the nice Wild Prison coming in from T1, messing with the formation of Bacon time and allowing Zirui to have that safety onto the backside. And with Pika right now having a better positioning on the team fight as well, it led to the demise here of Bacon time. So while they will be unsuccessful in winning with the double marksman composition, and Bikertopia just 1 more game away, 1 more win to completing this 3-0 victory. But I don't think Bacon time would allow themselves to be easily beaten here by Bikertopia. But I think what they need to do now, though, is instead of trying to match or get those high risky plays, go with where they are really comfortable with. Because yeah, Bikertopia has won with the double marksman composition, but the facts still remain. Double marksman lineups are not really doing well right now, especially with the low win rate it has.
Yeah, because when Bacon trying to play with the double marksman is not suitable for the side of Bacon itself, and why Bicotopia could do, because they had to train a lot, they have won a lot with the double ADC composition, and we saw the history of Bacon time that they are not comfortable with the double ADC. They have to force it, they have to force the damage on the late game. They want to secure the late game composition, but it's a little bit too late when you versus a Raz and as well as the Nacross, when you just purposely lose the Nacross gameplay. He doesn't want to give the Yon and maybe at that time maybe an Elsu, but it could be something that Bacon Time really need to think about when early matchup is all in the hands of Bicotopia. They need to find, maybe they want to play the mid game composition, and it works well in game number 2, but in terms of Bicotopia always has one champion and maybe one hero that could secure the late game composition here. Maybe the Yarn in game number 1, the Gaffney, but maybe game number 3 we will see what happened. Maybe they will go for AP Valheim, or somehow like a whips. They need to find a way to shut down the late game potential that Bicotopia could bring in terms of their draft. So Bacon Time, the drafts has been well, gameplay is excellent, but doesn't have enough execution in terms of how to defeat Bicotopia.
Yeah, their win conditions still are in the play, and what's also alarming is that they still have a lot of options in their hero pool as well. They still have the Elsu that is available if they are going to be able to remain on the blue side. But I think we are going to be seeing a switch later on, and it hasn't been picked up as well by Bacon Time. So things are gonna get more complicated in the next succeeding games. But with the momentum of Bicotopia right now skyrocketing, I think they would be able to be comfortable with these flex picks more as well towards the next few games, or potentially the last game that we are about to see against Bacon Time, because Bacon Time has been still struggling in finding their win, and despite the picks that we have seen them make against Bicotopia, despite the meta heroes and the like, almost similar matchup that they had, similar lineup with the Elendor double marksman composition, we didn't see the same kind of aggressiveness and same amount of pressure that Bicotopia actually had in their game. So maybe a different lineup would suit Bacon Time more, especially the ones that actually worked for them, because I do recall their games before against the other teams having a better performance, like going with the Elsu, going with the Nacross play, with the Tulen as well. Those kinds of lineup, the Thane pick that should have worked for them if ever they do have a team fighting based composition. They shouldn't really try to mimic the others instead, because they have their own strength. Team fighting is their usual go-to with their enemies, and it normally works for them. It worked for their game against a Mad Team. It worked for some of their games against V Gaming. But in this game against Bicotopia, they're having a different playstyle. So maybe go back to the roots, because it's so far not working.
Yeah, it's not working at all for the side of Bacon. They had response a lot in terms of in-game, but the energy and also momentum for Bicotopia is a little bit too much to be handled by Bacon. Look at how damaging is Pika, and as well as Pika has dealt the most damage for the side of Bicotopia, and in terms of Zirui itself, 76,000 damage, and it could be more. But in terms of Pika is the number one, maybe the MVP for this game, I would go for Pika when he picks a lot more better matchups in the game than in terms of 1v2 and then also 1v3. Try to waste some time, and it could make possible for the rest of the members back to back him up. So Bacon, they had a lot more comfortable pick in mid, but Zin is all over the map. Kim Sensei cannot match up with the fight or maybe the rotation that Zin has. A little bit too late with Liliana has the dashes, but it could be taken away by the Raz. The Raz has been all over the area trying to kill with the 3-man knockup on bottom side and as well as top. That is making the play for the side of Bicotopia, and as well the MVP, it will be given to Zero with the objective gameplay that Zero gives, 25% of the damage in that game itself, and also maybe 25% more from Pika playing that UA. That gives the moment that Bacon Time really having a hard time to win this matchup. Last matchup, game number 3, it will be devastating for Bacon Time. If they can't win this, they will go for the lower brackets.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen later on game number 3. But before that, we are just going to be going on a very short break. You are watching Arena of Valor International Championship 2022 with us being your casters, Gion Gaming and Mikos. Don't go away. We'll be back for game number 3.
Retaining her elegance even in battle, Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher allow her to easily control the whole battlefield, and Borrowed Might allows Yue to unleash endless attacks. If an enemy dares to offend Yue's grace, then they will taste the power of Rising Wind. Passive skill, Borrowed Might. Every time Yue uses Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher, she will gain a stack of Borrowed Might. When she has 2 stacks of Borrowed Might, Yue will reset the cooldown time of Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher and strengthen the next Aqua Force or Mountain Crusher. Skill 1, Aqua Force. Yue throws 2 bone fans at close range, dealing damage to enemies in their path. After strengthening, Yue will throw out 4 bone fans when using Aqua Force. Aqua Force will deal several times the damage where the bone fans converge. Skill 2, Mountain Crusher. Yue throws 2 bone fans at far range, dealing damage to enemies in their path. After strengthening, Yue will throw out 4 bone fans when using Mountain Crusher. Mountain Crusher would deal several times the damage where the bone fans converge. Skill 3, Rising Wind. Yue knocks back nearby enemies and deals damage to enemies in its path while pushing them back slightly. Yue will gain additional vision. Yue is a long-range mage with a powerful ability to exhaust the enemies, but is complicated to operate. To deal perfect damage using Yue, you need to be skilled in combining her skills to deal damage multiple times stronger. However, when Yue overlaps with the enemy, both Aqua Force and Mountain Crusher can deal full damage. When in the lane period, Yue can quickly clear enemy creeps via refreshing her skills through her passive skill and then assist the side lanes. In team fights, Yue needs to use Mountain Crusher multiple times to exhaust the enemies and frequently use Aqua Force to charge up her passive skill to look out for chances to kill or exhaust fragile enemy heroes. The core combo of Yue is to save up a stack of her passive in advance and instantly use Mountain Crusher twice to deal burst damage. But be cautious. Yu's ultimate is the only life-saving skill, so she needs to save her ultimate to be aware of enemy assassins' heroes in team fights.
I fight for what I stand for, what I stand for. You testing me, then I go Rambo, Rambo.
Hey, I tasted glory, tasted pain. I know what it takes to play. Got the kingdom on my back. I came long ways to engrave my name. Found my pride at the borderline. I will never back down till my dues are fortified. Hit him and get a little cautious. It's part of the process.
They think I'm crazy, or am I really brave? I don't let nothing faze me. There's no hold up delay. I still survive. I own the confidence up in my mind. I'm running towards the light. It's time to shine and go take flight. No pain, no gain. If you don't wanna fade away, look both ways. Hope pays. Heroes moving silence when they say the day. Yeah, I'm a queen. I overcome relentless pain, and I got it in my genes. I pass through anyways crisis, no matter what the price is. Prepare, protect my people, always beware. There's always the rivals everywhere. From your world, I declare, I'm riding to the end. Fight for what I stand for.
Hello, you're watching Arena of Valor International Championship 2022. Again, we are still your casters. Gion Gaming. Here with me is Mikos, and you're watching the match, the series of Bikertopia versus Bacon Time. So far, it is gonna be a 2-0 victory coming in from Bikertopia. We have yet to see a victory coming in from Bacon Time, but maybe in this third match we can see more of a fight coming in from Bacon Time. It will depend on their performance. Do you think it's possible, Mikos?
Yeah, I think it's possible with 3-0 win because of how Bikertopia played really well in terms of the drafts and also the momentum they bring from game number 1. They are determined to win this with no contestant coming in for Bacon, but we have 5-minute breaks. I think that is enough for Bacon to rest their mindset and try to bring something new into game number 3, because we see a lot more matchup in game number 3. They're starting to warm up and has a lot more better drafts, and at this moment of time is do or die for the side of Bacon Time. Do they want to go for low bracket? I think that is no, but when it's to be forced down by Bikertopia at this current matchup, it could be hard for Bacon itself. So Bacon, something that they could bring. Game 1, I already said that Bikertopia could want to invest a lot in game 1 and game 2. They only invest 4, and they bring out 1 heroes that not in the meta, and they bring out Eon, they bring the Irie in game number 1, but that makes it possible for the side of Bikertopia. But Bacon Time, they try to copy a draft and a meta coming in for Bikertopia. It's not making it work for them in game 2. That the Eleanor and the Cafney is not a go for Bacon. I think Bacon really needs to play a comfortable pick, like you just said before the break, that picking a lot more champions that they are comfortable with. The Elsu, maybe they want an Akroth for themselves, and also they have the Iggy in mid lane if they want to give to Kim Sensei. This is much of a struggle for Bacon. A lot more champs. They need a Florentino, maybe they need an Omen to be passed out, and the Baldwin and the Tain is still open for Bacon, and this is the moment that Bacon need to show that this is not done yet. Game number 3 is not a final to say that Bacon is out from the upper brackets.
We do see though the global bans kinda leaning more on the side of Bikertopia, since they actually invested quite a lot on the flex picks, especially during the second game, so they would have a lot more options than Bacon Time. Elsu priority though is gonna be better on the side of Bacon Time since they do have the first pick priority,
Yeah, they want
and the
Elsu.
Bikertopia, yeah, they would have to ban the Aya. The curse of having to ban the Aya. Lorian as well is available for Bacon Time, so well, Bikertopia has to be the one to choose now. Do you give up the Lorian? Do you give up the Elsu? Nobody wants to give up the Lorian, especially after that game number 1 victory of Bikertopia. So this will be their chosen path right now. Elsu for Bacon Time. To Muan, particularly.
Yeah, they have to give for the Muan, and now Bikertopia could force down the Teen, and as well if they want to bring the maybe the Valheim, or they still have the Telenas Baldoon. They don't have the Baldoon Telenas Teen, and they still want to bring the Slims, and also the Roxy have been hovering for the side of Bikertopia, and this maybe somehow Bikertopia want to invest onto the Slims. We've seen a lot of Slims in the playoff has not bring a lot more challenges, so it could be hard for Bikertopia to execute this with the Slims play. You have to wait for the Spears and also the Agnes Grips,
Yeah.
and the moment that the Agnes Grip does not hit, it could be devastating for the side of Bikertopia. And the Tain with the Elsu is hard to predict. Wherever the Tain goes, it could be in an Elsu path.
Ooh, this is a heavy team fighting composition that Bacon Time is drafting right now, and a lot of folks are there as well with the Kali, especially with the Ethereal Pulse. It is going to be able to zone away Bikertopia so much. Well, I think Bikertopia though is investing on the Slims because V Gaming had the chance, or actually were able to win against Bacon Time with the Slims, but it's not with the Agnes Grip. It's with a different approach in the game. It was actually with the Amelie, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they used on the support role instead.
Yep.
But the Tulen might actually be a good pick here for Bikertopia. The explosive power, explosive damage on the squishy members of Bacon Time would allow Bikertopia to have that loophole on Bacon Time's lineup. So this should be locked in already. Yeah, it is going to be locked in. So far, no junglers picked up here by both Bacon Time and Bikertopia. Nakroth here gonna be removed by Bikertopia since they already have invested their own pick with this hero. But there are a lot of options still for both teams. Like even the Scud can be used in the jungle right now, and I think Bacon Time would be interested in that due to them needing that frontline power again.
I think if they want to ban that Ryoma, for Bacon, they need that Florentino. I think they want the explosive power from the Florentino because they only have the damage comes in for Elsu, so they need burst damage. They need sustained damage coming in for maybe Florentino, or maybe into the jungle they could bring out the Yue or the Kira to be played here for Bacon Time. So if they cannot get the Florentino, or maybe they've been banned by Bikertopia, it could be hard for Bacon itself because not a lot of champs could be played by Marky. Maybe it could be forced onto the Scud and also the Kilgroth to be played. They doesn't have the Yena, they doesn't have the Richter. Maybe they still can force out the G play coming in from Marky. That is good as well from before this. And Bacon Time, they are not suitable onto the early matchup, so maybe they want to ban one more early game composition that they're themselves banning down the Florentino first, then Bikertopia opening for a Krigna gameplay if they want to. But the Tara has been hover. Tara is okay for the Tara to be picked, but I would prefer the Mina for side of Biketopia rather than the Tara.
I think one of the reasons why they don't pick up the Mina is because of the range that Bacon Time actually has. So they would be able to keep their distance away from the Mina effectively. But Tara does have a lot of split push capability due to the sustain that she does have in her kit, and it would force Bacon Time to actually split up, or at least gank the Tara, which would lead to Bikertopia having more options across the map. Bacon Time though is responding quite effectively with a Varus pick, and the Scud might actually be a good pick here. We did discuss earlier that it can be used on the Darkslayer lane or in the jungle, depends on where Bacon Time wants it to actually go. But Bikertopia now, with their last pick, they so far have two front lines. The Tara and the Roxy, they have yet to pick up their jungler, which I wonder what they would actually pick up for their jungler. Yeah, we would have a lot of mobility and a lot of gankiness, but
You don't
I'm wondering
have
how it would.
DPS.
Yeah, that's the problem right now.
They rely on the slims much more, but in terms of what Biketopia showed in game 1 and game 2, that they didn't need much more DPS because of their objective focus is much more than a team fight base composition. So they have the Tara, they have the slims, and as well as the AOE. It could be objective matchup, and all the damage that they had is the Talon to play with the team fight. But I'm like, I kind of like Biketopia's kind of draft, because when you mentioned that the range Bacon had is from the ultimate from the Kali, as well as the snipes come from the Elsu. So Biketopia said, okay, if you want to play range, we will play melee. We are going into your face, trying to shut you down with the Thunderclap, maybe. And also, Aoi will swing in front of the members of Bacon, and Tara will just jump, and as well as the Agnes script, as we all know from the Roxy. So face-to-face fight versus range from Bacon Time. Who do you like most coming in with the drafts?
I think Bacon Time has been consistent in having that stable lineup. This is what I like about Bacon Time, especially in the first few games, even like all the 3 games that we're seeing right now. Bacon Time always has that stability or like balance in their composition. But what Bikertopia is always doing as well is having that explosiveness in their lineup. Now it's still present. We have seen it as well in the first 2 games. So this is like their perk here right now. They put the Tara as well on as a support. So it will be a battle of endurance here onto the bot side. I will favor Bacon Time though, which is kind of like common thing that I do right now. Even the first 2 games, I did favor them a little bit more than Bikertopia, but the win conditions remain the same. I think it will still be with the first blood. Whoever gets it will win.
Yeah, in the current matchup, I would say Biketopia has an early matchup because they're only level 4, that they can take a lot more damage. But in terms of Teox, that has Tain pick here, is not on the favor of Rosada Bacon Time. Then is on the favor of Bacon Time, but with the Scott gameplay is going to be something that Biketopia needs to realize, that MLP as well with the Venom can just close in the gap well. So Biketopia needs something that can confirm the first blood to win this matchup. Early and late game, mid game. This is the mid game matchup for both of this team. They have the Elsu, on the side they have the Slims. I'm worrying about the Slims pick here for Biketopia, because Slims is much of a hard hero to face down Elsu because of the Elsu damage. and the Slims could be maybe a weak link coming in for the side of Baikatopia. If they want to win this, that spear better connect.
Yeah. That spear is going to be the biggest factor here for Bikertopia, because it would lead to at least the chain CC that they intend to do on the vulnerable members here of Bacon Time, which is Kim Sensei and Muon. It took a lot for V Gaming to actually make it happen, and it will still take a lot for Bikertopia to do exactly that. And with this kind of composition, it might be difficult as well, since they don't have that much control, especially onto multiple members of Bacon Time. We see more of an AoE crowd control on the side of Bacon Time, so this is going to be the most crucial part. The pokes coming in from Bacon Time, the crowd control, and the amount of damage that they can actually deal consistently as well. Bikertopia in the laning phase, we do see them on the losing end so far against their respective opponents. Except for the mid lane, it has been quite safe here for Shin. So it might be again the chance here for Bikertopia with the first blood, since Shin has been quite consistent with those ganks and initiations, and they do have the proper rotations as well being met with T-Lin helping out the mid lane, T1 as well leaving Zerui and trusting him on his safety with the laning phase as well. But this time it's kind of different because Muon has the Elsu, so the pokes are landing, the snipes are hitting, and Bacon Time is already starting this Abyssal Dragon. It will be attempted by Bikertopia to actually contest, but it's still at the end of that day a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, they have to trade in this current matchup, because both of them know that this matchup will progress into the mid game. But now Tara played a little bit more aggressive onto the phase of Almond P, trying to play aggressive, but the one snap comes in from Muon, trying to steal the blue buff in the hands of Bikertopia.
Oh,
he gets it! Oh no, that is a oopsie. Comes in for Bikertopia. The snipes has been led. This is maybe a mistake. Gives Muon the Elsu. They have to ban out. They have to ban the Lorion, and this is going to be something for the side of Bacon. They are play more aggressive, and Bikertopia is not answering. The damage is there.
It is there, especially after that Ethereal Pulse. Muon is just gonna be happily looking for a target to snipe with his damage, and right now Bacon Time is ahead by almost 1,000 gold with those interactions, and also that steal onto the blue buff of T-Lin. Not really the best early game so far here by Bikertopia, which is a good sign right now by Bacon Time. We have commented their stability in a sense in their composition, but the javelin throw is connecting there from Zerui, and Muon has to be a little bit careful when using the snipe, because if he's gonna get caught out, it's gonna be a different story later on with the better AoE damage right now by Shin attempting to go in with that burst, but fortunately Bacon Time disengaged successfully. T1 might actually get taken out, but the regen is just too high. I mean, it's a Tara for a good sake, so he has the ulti available for that sustain.
He's not going down. He's only lacking on the side of Bikertopia is an Aya here to just give a lot more security for that Tara. So maybe in this kind of matchup, it's hard to kill down T1 with the support Tara with Roxy Pika on the bottom side. We have a lot more damage has been traded, but Bacon Time is not going to accept this team fight with the negate of the damage from the Kali, trying to disperse the team fight on bottom side. Bikertopia knows this is not the fight they could take, because they have two range champs on bottom side. He needs to run away. T1 still needs a couple more damage to be landed.
He's stacking